All right, good day, WallBall fans worldwide. Today we're here in sunny Campbell, California, with pro player Danielle.
Oh, you want to say it?
Danielle Daskalakis.
Danielle
All right.
Daskalakis.
I got it. I wasn't quite sure I would get that pronunciation.
Added an extra S, but it's
Yeah.
all right. Most people do.
Well, thank you for the correction. Well, first off, welcome to WallBall Worldwide. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Welcome to California.
I don't want to go back.
I said that 12 years ago, and I never went back. So, again, welcome. And it's great to have you on. You would be our first female or first lady on our show. So thanks again for being here. And, typically I like to start off with achievements, but I want to start off with you with why handball? How did you get involved with handball?
All right. It's going to sound a little, awkward. But, so in New York, we have one-wall courts everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. So I grew up typical, I guess for, a girl athlete, it's, softball, basketball, volleyball, those things. So my dad was big into baseball. So my major thing was softball. I'd go for lessons and all that. But then when I hit high school, we actually have varsity teams in high school for handball. So I joined the Midwood team. And then, initially I was on the softball team. But then all my friends happen to be Asian. And it's, a really popular Asian sport. Well, not Asian sport, but it's very popular with Asian.
Which school?
Midwood High School. So Tyree, Jarrell, if you know these names,
Yeah.
Shirley, Cheryl, we all went there.
I'm a product of the New York City public school system as well,
so you know Midwood.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yes,
I made the twins, Jasenia, Mel, everybody's
absolutely.
from Midwood.
Small ball.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's small ball in the schools, but outside, everybody's playing big ball.
Switch it up,
Yeah. So because of that, I just got so into it that I was just all right, hey Dad, I'm gonna quit the team and join this other team.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just caught me because I think if you're an athlete and just the whole hand-eye coordination, and I think the fact that I always had a good arm, it just I was okay, I excel at this. My low serve came naturally, so it was right away. I'm okay, cool.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. What was your home court?
Home court. So initially I'm from Marine Park, but there wasn't really any playing over there, so I kind of went everywhere. I would say my favorite court would I started practicing and competing more at Coney Island. So I'd say those were initially my home courts.
Yeah.
And then the more I played big ball, the more I just kind of stuck around in Manhattan, and I would go to Grand Street, which is in Chinatown.
Yes, I know.
So all the good food, so it caught me.
I've been served there.
Yeah, so Grand Street I would say is probably my go-to. I feel most comfortable there.
Gotcha. So in all your years of playing in the city, it's out here in California, it's almost non-existent to have female players. Yeah. We know in New York there are quite a few, but did you ever experience any difficulties playing or any sort of animosity when guys get to see that you actually can play?
Yeah, I don't know, animosity maybe, yeah. So there's a tournament in Albany, New York. It's 4-wall. And initially when we first started playing, there's not really any girls that go up, so you have to play in the men's event. And with small ball, I like to throw hooks and with my low serve. And you don't really see girls do that. And every other serve, they kept saying it was a slide, or it was the wall, or it was the ball was wet. And I was how many times do I have to do the same exact serve for you not to think it's that? So there's I feel there's always you always kind of have to prove something.
Yeah, double standard.
Yeah, because otherwise you're not going to get on the court, or they're not going to take you seriously. So you kind of always have to go out with all right, I got to just show. You kind of have to show yourself off in a way. But I wouldn't say animosity. You do kind of get guys that are if you're in a tournament with guys, they're they're just giving you points now, just because you're a girl, they shouldn't do that. So they kind of go back and forth. But for the most part, not animosity, but you get guys, it's always a surprise when you kill the ball. Guys you can do that. I'm
I was gonna say it's always surprising until you cut and break their ankles, something like that.
Yeah, it's just these are standard shots, especially if you're training and doing something like that. Then these are things that you should be I can kill the ball, or I can drive it.
Absolutely. So out of all your achievements, which one are you the most proud of?
Okay, it's definitely my 2015 world title, because I slammed the singles and the doubles, and I came back I was getting destroyed by Sandy, and the second game, she beat me the first game, she just destroyed me, and the second game she had me 18-2, and then I just I kept getting down, and I just had this mantra in my head. I still remember the feeling and everything, where it's get her down, make a point, get her down, make a point, get her down, make a point. And then he came back, won that, and then I won the tiebreaker 11-9. And so that's definitely the proudest I felt. Yeah, so I think that's my favorite.
That's great. I was thinking that might be it, but Worlds is a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
How about, where do you want to go? I mean, is there anything that you have not achieved that you're still looking to do?
Yeah, I mean, in handball, there's just so many different things because you have one wall, you have three wall, you have four wall, you have the half court three wall, you have the long court three wall, you have small ball, you have big ball, and they have like this other variation like front ball, which is like.
I was gonna get to that.
Yeah. So it's like if you're competitive, like there's a lot that you can do, and then you want to do everything. Like I've won a bunch of national titles, but then I want to do everything in the same year. Like I want to win big ball and small ball in the same year, but then as I've gotten older, like I've just kind of like mellowed out a little bit more, so I haven't as competed as much. But I definitely I have a 3-wall national title in small ball. I mean, there's no 3-wall big balls, but I have 3-wall like titles that I'm proud of. 1-wall I did, small ball, big ball, and I really want 4-wall. Now 4-wall is like, that's hard. Like these Irish girls are like, they're training hard. Like it's just like, it's gonna be difficult, but that's what I would like to try next. Yeah, and the front ball. Like the front ball is it's a different variation, so it's kind of like the 1-wall court, but you can't kill it, and that's like my game. Like I want to just pound it out, like 1-2, 1-2, I'm done. Like, but in this, like the ball doesn't move, so it's more like a marathon versus like a sprint, and it's just like, okay, I gotta just keep like going back and forth, and then it's rally scoring, but then like it's rally scoring 10, 10, and 5 points a tiebreaker in rally scoring. Like that's like you can be done in a minute, like maybe even less. Yeah,
with their long rallies, right?
Yeah,
so that kind of prolongs the game.
Yeah, so and then these girls are like they're competing in all these other like variations of that, which like harder balls, and they're used to that kind of play with the marathon style, and they're so passionate. Like I mean, we have like passion where we like get mad or whatever, but like they're like going, like they're diving into the stands, and like you don't really see that here. Whether it's 4-wall, 1-wall, or whatever, like with the girls, like they're like throwing, like barrel rolling, like parkour stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is WallBall Worldwide, so we like to focus on the international aspect of the game, or the game outside of New York. So where are you planning to compete in front ball?
So front ball is mostly like in the Basque region. Actually, up here, there's a pretty significant scene because there's this guy that I work with. I'm on a committee with for like development. So we do women and junior development mostly because we want to push it. Same as like handball, we want to push it towards the Olympics. And they have like a really good system, like just their marketing and everything. How they're pushing it is, I think it's a lot more organized than how we are because we just have so many variations still that we need to agree on. And like so the guy's Xavi, he's actually I think the president of the United States Spanish handball. So he actually like takes junior teams and competes everywhere. Yeah. And there's actually a place that came here like 2014 or 15. Is it like old San Francisco or like I forgot, but it's like there's like a Basque cultural center and they have one of those long walls and we played front ball there and it's cool. Like I enjoyed it. Like I mean I got to go to Paris and play like by like the Eiffel Tower and like the Tower of Defense, awesome, like, and then I got to go to my other favorite part was Anglet. It's also in France, but it's like in the Basque region. We flew into like Spain, which is like right by the water. I think it's San Bernardino. No, I don't remember what it's called.
It's California, isn't it?
That is. Well, I've been here too long.
People don't realize how big like wall ball in general is in Spain. I mean, I went to Valencia, and that was my first taste of front ball, of seeing front ball. They have a huge one-wall community and front-on community, and they're playing pelota out there, and there's a lot of great female players out there.
Yeah,
Shout
really
out to Mar and Victoria out there in Spain. So is it now putting handball to the side and making front ball more of the challenge for the immediate future, or where do you kind of see yourself splitting with the game?
I think it's hard to say. Like, I think in the United States itself, like, they look to us, right? Because we do have a lot of players, especially a lot of female players. And that's why front ball came also to, like, New York, especially because we have all the girls. And that's where you need the balance. Front ball does a lot better with, like, that equal girls, equal guys, like, equality. Like, it's just great. Like, the way they make you feel, like, I mean, like, you feel like it. Like, we went to Mexico City, and, like, we had, like, these athlete badges. And it's not like the men get treated better than the girls or whatever. But it's like, in that sense, I lean towards front ball more. I just think their marketing is better. The fact that they're making it like an initiative that girls get as much time. Where like here, like I can kind of understand where like, we need to meet halfway. But in handball, like the girls are not getting that same recognition. Or it's like in some tournaments, even if there could be like 16 girls, 16 guy players competing, the guys are still going to way more money.
They're gonna get the top billing.
It's just more incentive, even if it's not money. Like I don't think money has to be the biggest incentive because like I go to Worlds, that's every 3 years, and the incentive is that title, right? There's no money involved.
Yeah, it's just props, basically.
Yeah. So I think like, and we need like the men just to kind of like we don't need that, but it would be nice to have that because you need that support, especially when it's the majority of players.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if there was more recognition, more people would get involved, more women would get involved, and that this propels the game. And if we're looking at this as being an Olympic sport, there has to be more equality.
That's actually a rule. Like,
There has to be more
one of the things
equality.
we have to
Yeah,
hit.
it has to be gender
So
equal.
I think especially like, and it's also like economic, right? Front ball and one wall big ball are probably the most economic. So those are the two that we would really want to push towards the Olympics, which is what like what WallBall, that's where the name came from, right? Because we needed a name for the Olympics because handball's already taken.
Exactly.
Like European WallBall, like Dan Grant, like I think they do amazing. Like Dan does like some.
Shout out to my boy Dan.
He does amazing things. Yeah, he's a good guy. And like going over there, the way they treat you too, and it's like it's newer. Like it's newer over there, yet and they have like less resources, but they're doing way more with it than we have in like years. Right? Like there's an initiative, but it's not consistent. And I think there's a disparity there.
I hate to say this, but there's less ego in dogma. So that helps propel the sport. I mean, over here is everybody wants to be number one, but people don't necessarily want to work together. And unfortunately, that's just part of being here.
I mean, there's a lot of conflict. I mean, there's a lot of different things. Like you have too many. Like you have 4-wall, you have 1-wall, you have small ball. Like you want to push everything, and everybody's like, well, I don't want to push this. I want to push that. But like the clear identity right now, right? Like if we like identify something, it would be 1-wall big ball. It's the most economic. You can put these courts pretty much anywhere, and you can take them away. 4-wall, 3-wall, it's harder to do that with. And I mean, I like all of them. Like even though I'm technically a 1-wall player, like I think every one of them is like fun in its own way. Like
Any ball, any wall, right? That's what we always say. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's always like a different vibe, and it's just fun. It's like they're playing different sports in a way. And I'm a phys ed teacher. Like I love sports. I grew up playing different sports. Like even now, I'm still playing like different sports other than handball.
Yeah, you work out different parts of your body. It's just more challenges. You know, with all this said, I mean, where would you personally like to see the game go?
I mean, I would like it to be more professionally recognized. I wouldn't necessarily see us like, we're not like, I don't see it in the near future being like a basketball, football, or tennis, but like at least like, similar to like a racquetball status where they actually like are more recognized pro players, or like even like I've started following on Instagram like the verified, like so you know what verified means? All right, so you get that verified check, that means you're somebody, and I'm like, okay. We're like pro players and stuff like that, but in a sport that nobody really recognizes. But then I watch these other people, like this one woman, she plays that it's like the soccer but they play it over the net, like it's like volleyball soccer, and she's verified and like just like killing it out there. And I was like, and then I Google these things too, like I'm like how much is this person making? Like same thing with like I would like to be in the next few years if we could be like squash, where they get played. I mean. They have their pro players, they have sponsors. Like that's the biggest thing. Like we need sponsors and recognition, and it's hard to get that if we're not giving them something to sell. We need to sell this product.
You know, I come from a music background, a b-boying background, so I would personally like to see it get to the level of just b-boying. Breakdancing, for those who don't know what b-boying is, breakdancing, which is now a provisional sport in the Olympics,
So
which we played a part in.
They just beat, because it was in the next Olympics going to be in France after Japan. Well, it was supposed to be Japan, right? So front ball was actually pushing. They had actually a very good chance.
With the federation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were actually pushing, and because it's France, because front ball was created in France, because b-boy is so big in France, right? It was those two, and b-boy just pushed out front ball. I think it was b-boying and skateboarding maybe, might be one of them. But
that's another thing I would like. Even the level of X Games.
Yeah.
Can we get in the X Games, please? Can Red Bull give us a call and let's hook that back?
Like look at like Spikeball is brand new, and like, but they're using like social media and apps and social media like just new technology to propel it. Like we're still on piece of paper, like checking in people at the tournament and like, oh, is this court not open yet? Like we don't have devices where we can find out right away.
We need the eagle eye on the lines too. Can we get that, please?
I mean, the WPH makes use of that, but like easily just get a phone or some like old iPhone will have the slow-mo because it's doable. But
guys like Phil and Ten's Finest do a great job with the slow-mo. Yeah. Shout out to them.
Phil was actually, I just want to throw this out there because Phil came to the junior program that I run in New York at the YMCA, the Harry Mellis, and he's always been really cool for Brooklyn Tech. So I just want to give a shout out because he's doing good things. And he's a good kid. I'm in with, but he.
All right.
He was from Brooklyn.
I got accepted Brooklyn Tech.
Yeah, and
Passed the test.
he used to come to our program. Yeah, so I'm happy. I'm happy to. I'm like proud to say like, hey, that kid.
Yeah, I mean it's him and you know, people like him who are putting the videos out, and the committee and
that's
the
good.
Handball United and all these
But I think
organizations.
that's what we were missing. It's like because we want to keep consistency. Like in New York, there's so many players, but then like especially when you're younger, but then they just drop off. And then why is there the gap? What's going to keep them going? And then coupled with the fact that like a lot of like players around my age, they decide they're not going to play or give back to the community anymore. But you have like Phil and them like using like this new technology to their advantage, where like social media to help like brand yourself, or brand the sport and sell your product. And Phil's doing a really good job of that.
Getting to a much wider audience than just the few people that may be able to see at the park.
Like, even with all like the Facebook lives, the Instagram lives, like even like now like the podcast that they're doing, like it's really good for the sport. And now if we can just kind of like put that together, then we have something to sell. We can kind of approach sponsors now.
That's what we're trying to do at WallBall Worldwide, is just do our part to help propel the game. And you got, old guys like myself and Mr. Herman Mendez out here who are still playing, and when you can't play quite at the same level, you start to teach because you want to propel the game. We don't want to see the game die.
I think it's, yes, I agree. I think, but I mean, I've been teaching it and playing. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do both, but I feel like it's also helped propel my game. Like I think, like Tracy Davis and Cesar Sala and Paul Angel, like these are the guys that I started with, and they were competing. And I remember when Cesar was a really good teacher, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember when he started competing, like he started training with all us, a bunch of girls, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, we're doing drills. You have to do like these suicides if like, or like let's say fun runs, if you like mess up, if you serve out or whatever. And I remember Joe Durso walking by, and he was like, wow, Cesar, you're over here hitting the ball around with the girls, and Satish is doing his like 200th ace serve to the corner. Good luck in nationals. And then Cesar destroyed him that year. Cesar won flat out that year, and it was really cool to see. But then also like Dave Chapman.
Shout out to Cesar.
Dave Chapman, when I was like younger, they had the camp where they had the handball camp. So it's Dave Chapman, Dave Fink, Emmett Pichot, like I hope I'm not messing anybody up. Yeah. But like they had this camp that flew us out to Cali, and we went to Disneyland and stuff. But we were doing 4-wall drills. Like we had little classes, and we kind of got rotated around and got to play everybody. But they taught us like shot specific things, and like some people are better teachers than others. I think like Emmett was probably my favorite to learn from, just because he broke everything down so like clearly. And I think having that competitive mindset, and like you need that also to like be able to teach something. Like I'm not just teaching the shot. Now I got to show you how to use it, the practicality of it. Yeah. Otherwise, you're losing that student. They're like, okay, I just want to hit the ball at the wall. Like, can you teach me how to hook serve this? Like, yeah. So it's just you got to explain the practicality of something.
That's great, and I also thank you for mentioning them, acknowledging them. Because we are the stepping stones throughout the generations. So and thank them for their efforts in helping you to become who you are. And with that said, Daniela, thank you so much for being with us today on WallBall Worldwide. I mean, I know it's getting a little dark. We do want to go out and play, but I appreciate you taking some time to be with us. And thank you all for watching.